The boys were 4 years old on the first race. I don't like asking people for money. It's like one of the things I hate. However, I'm not above letting my kids ask people for money, so I put them out there, and Nick and Mark would like you to donate to this race that they're going to be in. And so we collected money, and to my surprise, we collected $900 that year, and I thought, well, that wasn't so hard. Then the next year, I think we raised $1,300, and then it just kept going up from there. Now, for the last couple of years, it's been over $13,000 each year. We haven't kept track of it, but I think we're somewhere in the realm of $150,000 over the 30-some years that we've been doing the race. I'm so happy because it's for Camp Cheerful. And it's one of the things my kids just absolutely love and is such a special place in their hearts that, you know, whatever we can do for Camp Cheerful, we want to do for Camp Cheerful. I can remember walking into my first board meeting and seeing a sea of suits, and you know, there's all these movers and shakers, and here's the art teacher in her school clothes, and I just had a laugh, and I'm thinking, if this is my impression, I wonder what their impression is. Like, who is this? I don't know how much I brought to the board, but I do know it was a parent's perspective, and most of the people on the board were not parents of children with disabilities, with challenges, and it opened some eyes. All of our board meetings opened with a parent talk. At that meeting, I reached in my pocket and I pulled out a little acorn. I just reached across the table, and I don't really remember who it was. I think it might have been Bob King. And I handed him the acorn, and I said, "Can you tell me what this is?" And he looked at it and looked at me and looked at it, and then said, "Well, it's an acorn." And I said, "Well, that's correct. It is an acorn." And most people I ask, "What is this?" are going to tell me, "This is an acorn." I said, "But if I took this and walked down the hall to the therapy rooms where there are people working with my children, and I handed it to one of those therapists and said, 'Can you tell me what this is?' without missing a beat, they would say, 'This is an oak tree.'" I said, "So that's why I'm here. That's why my children are here, is because it doesn't just stop at who you are. It's what can you be?" You know, we're in this room meeting, but in other rooms down the hall, there are little miracles happening. I'm happy that it continued on. As a teacher, you want your lessons to live on. So this is very exciting and very humbling that it has lasted all these years. When I sent this information out to my family, one of my younger brothers wrote back and said, and he has awards all over the place. He's in every Hall of Fame there is. He was an athlete. And he wrote back and said, "It's one thing to get an award, but to have an award named after you is a whole different thing." And I agree. I mean, it takes it up to a level where it's very emotional and very humbling. Then it would be continued with other people that the Achievement Center thinks have the qualities and have the idea, they understand what the Acorn is about. Hopefully it might inspire other people to see that they can easily step in to do things, simple things, raise some money, volunteer to do something, show up for the events. They're not that difficult to do. And they're the things that keep the Achievement Center going, which keeps hope alive. And all of these families need that hope. We went from thinking, debating which of our sons was going to be playing football for Notre Dame and which one was going to be, a world famous artist, and, whatever plans we had, completely gone. We had to relearn how to look at them and how to help them, because that's about all we could do. You have to stop being upset over the losses, because the losses really aren't losses, they're just options. And when you see that there are other options, and I think that's part of the idea of what the Achievement Center promotes, is that there are options out there. You don't get all of them, no one gets all of them, but we can help you find the ones that'll work and the options that will make your child have a fuller life, a richer life, and be happy. And what more can you ask for your child?